Hey everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Title Scoop. So this week we are finishing our comp endorsement series and we're going to focus on the ALTA 35 series. And that is generally known as the mineral coverage endorsement. That's what a lot of people refer to it as because that's primarily what it's focused on. So similar to the ALTA 28 series, which we discussed last week, the 35 actually limits the language a little bit and describes improvements different than what the ALTA 9 does. So the ALTA 9 is pretty broad, whereas the 28 and the 35 series actually describe what the improvement is or even allow us to describe what improvement we are wanting to provide coverage for in the endorsement. So there are 4 total endorsements in the 35 series, and we're going to go over 3 of those today. The 4th is land under development, which we don't really need to go over because it's not requested a lot. So if you get that one, reach out to your underwriter. Otherwise, we're not going to go over it today. So the first in the series is the ALTA 35-06, and that's labeled minerals and other subsurface substances for buildings. And this endorsement is available for both owners and loan policies, and it includes enforced removal of a building, and building is actually described as the improvement in the endorsement. So I think it's under section 2 of the endorsement. It actually says the improvement is described as a building, resulting from the future exercise of a mineral right to extract or develop minerals or subsurface substances. And those rights are either included in the legal description or the Schedule B exceptions. Now, the 35-1 is similar, except that it's actually describing the improvements more specifically. And this one, again, available for owners and loan. And it describes improvement as buildings or structures located on the surface of the land, paved roads, walkways, parking areas, driveways, or curbs affixed to the land. And it specifically excludes crops, landscaping, lawn, shrubbery, and trees. So those are things that are not covered. And again, same coverage. It's resulting from the future exercise of a mineral right to extract or develop minerals or subsurface substances. And again, we're going to have those listed in either the legal description or in the Schedule B exception. Now, the third one we're going to go over is the 35-2, and that's for a described improvement. So similar to the 28-2, we get to put what improvement we're providing coverage for. Now, what I'm going to tell you is that section 2 in the endorsement, make sure you put that improvement or improvements on that endorsement. Otherwise, you're not really providing great coverage, but you want to actually list it out. That's a great note also. Anytime you have an endorsement, read through it and make sure there's no blank spaces, because if there are, you probably either need to put none or ask your underwriter what you should put in there if you don't have something to put in there. Now, again, this one is a described improvement, and you're going to put what the improvement is that your client is wanting coverage for. Again, same type of coverage, just specifies what the improvement is. Now, all 3 of these endorsements exclude coverage for contamination, explosion, fire, vibration, fracturing, earthquake, or subsidence or negligence by the extracting party. So we do have some things that are excluded, and those are on every single one of these endorsements for the 35 series. Now, the reason I went over all 3 together is because the underwriting requirements are actually the same. The coverage is just different, and the improvements are different. So the underwriting requirements, you're going to have 3 things you're going to do. The first thing you want to do is you want to verify that there are no outstanding minerals or other subsurface substances other than royalties. Okay, so royalties are okay, or that surface rights have been waived. If you don't know how far back to go in your state, call your underwriter, because every state's a little bit different on how far you need to go back for this. Now, generally speaking, if you have a platted subdivision or platted land and you've got an apartment complex, office building, shopping center, you can probably provide this coverage as long as you don't have any knowledge that there's any extraction happening or mineral development or anything like that. You just want to make sure that it's in a subdivision that's actually platted. If you're not sure, give us a call. But again, a lot of times this is available when it's in a platted area with not a lot of research. Now, the last thing is, if you anywhere in your chain you see percentage of minerals, subsurface substances outstanding, mineral reservations, zoning prohibitions, waiver of surface rights, development in the area, call your underwriter, because we need to read through those documents to see if we can actually issue them. The other thing is, on every single one of these, the 4C, so 4C is in each endorsement, you're going to exclude the things you don't want to cover. So if there is any mineral interest that you want to exclude from coverage, you are going to put that in the 4C of your endorsement. If there aren't any that you want to exclude, you just put none. So like I said before, make sure you're filling out the blanks on your endorsements. And like I said, we're not going to go over the 35-3 this week because that's land under development, and we're actually done with our comp endorsement series. So we are going to call it a week, and we will see you next week.